Hello, welcome everyone. I'm Joette of Square Peg Society, and today we have a quick info session on an employment training program called Autism CanTech. And we will introduce you to that program, and then we'll have a quick introduction to a Specialisterne Recruiting Agency who wants to talk about a couple of positions that they are opening up in the Lower Mainland. So without further ado, I'll introduce you to Brenna Howard of Autism CanTech.
Good afternoon, well, morning, everyone. My name is Brenna, and I'm the Assistant Facilitator for Autism CanTech. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen so that everyone can see a little PowerPoint. So, as I said, this is Autism CanTech, and just to go a little bit about it, we are a federally funded program by the government, and we run out of Douglas College. So who are we? We are individuals that are staff of Douglas College who have accepted a program by Norquest College that they offered to run out of our facility. We are a national project, so we aim to support individuals that are autistic and on their way into the workforce. We educate them to learn entry-level employability and technical skills to start their careers in the digital economy. So this program, because it is federally funded, it's here in Vancouver, BC at Douglas College at the New West campus. Then they also have partnership in Alberta and Saskatchewan, Humber College, Ontario, and the original program is from Norquest College in Edmonton. So any of these are attendable, but we do have the HighFlex and virtual model in person. So the program is basically an employment program as well as a tech education program. How can you see if you're eligible? You must be diagnosed or self-diagnosed with autism between the ages of 18 to 30, a citizen or permanent resident of Canada, and then we ask that you not currently be employed and are legally able to work in Canada. Because of the level of program we have and training, we ask that you not be in another school or other training. We do ask that you have a confident use of PC, Microsoft Office, and Google Suite, completed high school education or equivalent, and then are ready for your next role in employment. It is 4 months training overall. It is employability skills where you do productivity, process management, teamwork, presentation, stress management, and then also working on communication skills that help you become more employable, public speaking, and business communication. In that 4 months, you also will attend job skill trainings that are specific to tech. This is data processing, UDL diagramming, records management basics, creating data, sets and records, filing, sorting, and arranging the data, project management, and then also using recreational databases such as Excel, Power BI, and SLQ. So this is all geared towards a Microsoft-based program, and you learn about these certificates, will be educated on these tasks, and will be able to enter the workforce with these skills. So overall, we do have the in-person and in HighFlex training. Participants will receive both lab in classes and then external work that they can do on their own. We have career coaches that run every Friday for the employability skill programs. And then our individuals like myself and my partner Sue, who will be there Monday to Friday working on all the tech skills. After the 4 months experience, you work 2 months of paid work experience where you do get paid for 5-hour days. And it is overall 8 weeks in the community partnership located in your Lower Mainland or to an occasional place near you, depending on your location. Your work experience is matched to your personality, what your interests are, and through conversation of your job developers, the employers, and yourself. You will receive employee support during the entirety of the work experience, as well as inclusive training. Your job developer works with you through a program called Robocoach, which is a platform that they use to manage, assess, and evaluate tasks. In your normal day-to-day in-person attendance, our classes run from 9:30 to 12 p.m. Our class goal is to have 15 to 20 participants, as well as some individuals that would like to attend online. For the program you attend, we give you a handbook, guiding tool, as well as make sure that you are fully prepared with an orientation. You're giving a checklist for all the things that you need to attend for the program, and then as well as we make sure you have access to our college accounts, Blackboard, and any email that's necessary for the college. So with our career coaches, we have 2 career coaches or job developers. Their name is Sharon and Zach, and they work with you in the classroom on Fridays, as well as one-on-one throughout the career coaching and during their work experience. So they're accessible through phone and email every day that you guys are working through your new job roles. They will help you meet the employer, meet the environment, make sure that your employer is meeting your accommodations, and they will discuss any challenging situations that you might have or aid in conversations that you need to have with your employer. So the Robocoach platform is a scheduling tool that you will put in your tasks as given to you by your employer that the employer can also implement. And then your job coach can check in through the platform, asking you if you've completed these tasks or how you've been going on them, and if you need any assistance from your employer. In general, they can see when your shift is, when it ends, and how they're going through notes and comments that you provide through the program. So all of our employer partners, they are through fields such as IT, media and art, graphic design, website design, nonprofit organizations where you're managing their statistics, their intake, any of their data that they'd like to input, which could be from their income, as well as real estate statistics or data management that needs to be done, any healthcare inventory, paperwork filing, that would be transferred onto the internet now and onto the computer, as well as retail. So these are all places that you can be placed into a front end or back end data entry job. During your work experience, you're matched with the supervisor through the employer, as well as with your job developer you meet. Participants interview with a member from our job developer team to help you support the work experience. We make sure that all the tasks are identified and your role is clear of what jobs you do, what experiences you have, and what strengths you provide. We make sure that this work experience is very similar to as if you were to get hired by the company, and then they have the option to hire you after the work experience has ended. All of our projects are research driven, so we have continual statistics that we bring back to our program, as well as we make sure that we understand the barriers that exist to autistic community and making sure that we are accommodating our schedule, our employment programs, as well as the curriculum we educate. We ensure that we do this through focus groups, interviews, and testimonials with individuals who have been in the program or strive to be a part of the program. Just to apply, all you have to do is fill out an application form at Autism CanTech BC. We then go through an interview process with myself and my coworker, Sue. After that interview process, we bring all the information, skills, and assets that you would bring to this program, and we evaluate them to see if you are suitable and eligible for our program. And then the decision is made and you are enrolled. Our next cohort begins on March 28th, and then we also have a cohort that will start in August 29th. So to be clear, our program starts March 28th, and it actually goes all the way until July, where you would complete your work experience for 2 months. And then after that work experience, your employer has the option to hire you or provide you with references to other companies because of the experience that you have gained. This is just a photo of our previous cohort that just ran over August, and we have about 18 participants that were in it. 17 out of the 18 are placed and employed from our program. So we have a very high success rate of individuals that have been successful throughout just in the BC region. Many of them are doing tasks from managing a social media account to doing the data entry of a medical office and transferring the input of client information into the databases of online programming so that the facilities or companies can now turn into this tech-driven world. If you would like any more information, then you can always look at autismcantech.ca, or you can contact myself, Brenna, and email at autismcantech.ca for our email to see if there's any more interest that you have in our program. If there's any questions, I can take any questions at this time.
It was good. It was very clear. Thank you. First question is about we're really happy to see that you're accepting an equivalent to a high school diploma. As you know, the objective of all of these employment programs is to break down barriers. And so that's one. We don't want the programs themselves to become barriers. So as open and flexible while still maintaining the degree of expertise that they want to, or information and expertise that they want to deliver is important. So being flexible and finding alternate ways of evaluating that is important. What about the 30 age year limit? Is that inclusive of 30 years? And would you be flexible in considering something a bit older than that?
So because our program is funded by the government, we have some very strict rules, and that would be the funding is only allowed to up to the age of 30. You can be 30 on the age of entry in the program, but if you turn during the program, then that's okay. But if you were 31 at the entry, then we would not accept you. And this is in addition to if ages of 18, if you are 17 years of age, and you applied to our program, we would ask to wait until you were 18 years of age, and then we would move forward with your application after that. So you can be 30 on entry of the program or 29 turning 30. However, as soon as you're turning 31, then we would refer you to other associations and programs that we have partnerships with.
Okay. What about the Robocoach? I just love this idea.
Yeah, so I'll go back a little bit. We definitely have, there's a little bit more that I can explain.
Sure.
So Robocoach is actually a program that is directed for individuals with ASD and has been created as a task management, time management system. So it's very similar to a Google Calendar, except extremely advanced. So you would use Robocoach. Your employer can input from their end. They input the information into Robocoach of the tasks that you must complete for the day. And then you'll be able to see all those tasks on your calendar. You can mark them through importance, as well as time that needs to be completed, and maybe the skills that need to be done beforehand. You then complete the skill, check it off. Your employer can view that skill, and so can your job coach. So your job coach can send you a message through chat box or call you and say, hey, have you done task B yet? I see that it's still loading.
I could see the potential of this immediately for those with some executive functioning skills issues, but also for people to enable them to work remotely and to have employer comfort with that. So great idea. Is this something that's downloadable to somebody who isn't in the program?
Yeah, so I can actually put the website in the chat.
Okay.
I do not know about if there's pricing or anything like that because we have the partnership with Robocoach. It's already inputted into our program, and then the applicants will already have an account made with their college ID and with their employee ID. But if you wanted to purchase, I'm not sure if it's purchasable, but if you wanted to implement it for yourself, I'm sure you can look into the plans that they have optional.
Okay, well, thanks. Yeah, put the information in the chat. That would be great. The other thing is, could you name some of your employer partners?
I actually cannot. I am, because I'm strictly in the classroom and I'm working with the individuals in our 4 months work experience before the work experience, I do not do any of the placement. So I'm not one of the job coaches that actually places you to the employers. I can definitely refer you to some of the employers and get that contact information, but I do not have it on hand with me today.
Any questions from anyone before we move on to Laura?
Yeah, I see Liam, you have your hand up. Do you want to go ahead? You can.
I was wondering, I saw that like the picture was like all in person. Is the program itself in person, or is there any online bits?
Yeah, so it is in person and online. We offer a high flex model, which means that you can attend in person if you so desire, but depending on your location or even your comfortability with being with other individuals and COVID and weather and all the crazy things that we've had happen, you can 100% attend online. Right now for our current program, we have 2 individuals that will be attending online and about 10 to 15 that will be in person.
Okay.
Shaflin has put a comment in the chat. He says a real life feedback from his experience. I know when my tech-oriented Linux son applied, he responded negatively, visibly, to data processing, I guess the language, during his interview. That may have disqualified him, and perhaps reasonably so from the program's perspective. I had an old school reaction to that term too. Do you have any comment on, I mean, language is always tricky because
yes,
it slips out so quickly. So often we without intentioning may use terms that we don't intend or that we haven't really thought through the full implications. So generally my feeling is
to speak on Linux. Linux is one of the software programs that we are aware of. However, it will not be run throughout our program. This is particularly because not many employers actually use Linux. Linux is more towards a film-based data processing. It's not as commonly used through frontline work, and that is not as commonly used as an employability skill because of how complex Linux is. We do understand that many individuals have a preference of using Linux, and we just like to educate them on how many different programs can input the information in different ways. And many different companies will prefer to use a standard and easier accessible program like Microsoft Word, like SLQ, like Power BI. So Linux will be something that can be talked about. However, the main companies that we work with may not lead towards a job working with Linux. And when we say data processing, maybe a better language is data filing, data storing, and data management. So when we talk about all of those versions of data, you will be given either, let's use a list of inventory items that need to be filed, stored alphabetically, chronologically, and maybe even through in the cities that they were located from. All of this information, you create formulas within Excel, and then you can take those tables, formulas, and put them into graphs and charts that will be used through Power BI. And then that's presentable to your employer for your year-long income of inventory from many different locations.
Thank you both, and great presentation, Brenna. Really cool program. So my name is Laura.addison, and I'm actually a talent acquisition coordinator at Specialisterne Canada. And I'm very excited to talk to you all today about our organization and opportunities that you may be interested in, that your friends, that your kids. So Specialisterne is an internationally recognized leader in harnessing the talents of people who identify as autistic or otherwise neurodivergent by providing them with the opportunity to sustain meaningful employment. Our nonprofit was founded in Denmark and now operates in 13 countries around the world. So at Specialisterne, we partner with typically enterprise-level companies such as TD, CIBC, IBM, Kinaxis. The list kind of goes on from there. and put on their neurodiversity hiring initiatives with them. Before we even get started in this initiative, before learning about the roles and marketing them, our delivery team has an education session with the company where every team is invited, not just the ones looking to hire through us. And during the session, we try to, create more of a safe, inclusive, accessible environment for the candidates at the company before we even get started and going live with the opportunities. So we talk about, stereotypes and the stigma that society has placed on neurodivergent individuals and try to break those down to the best of our abilities. And after the education session, we kick off our partnership by meeting with the hiring managers who are looking to hire through us. And we learn the ins and outs of the roles and see what they're looking for within a candidate. We then take that information, make job descriptions, and market them through our different channels. Once we have all of the applicants and the application deadline has passed, we screen those candidates and choose the best fits for the roles. And that would be just narrowing it down from the list. Those wouldn't be the final people. We invite those individuals that we deem are the best fits to our virtual workshops. Our workshops take place of interviews. We actually don't do any interviews at our company because we acknowledge that neurodivergent individuals can have a difficult time with interviews. I personally don't like them at all. I'm a bad seller of myself. So instead, we take a competency-based approach where we ask the candidates to show their skills instead of talking about them. So the first day of workshops, again, all virtual, is an introductory session where invited candidates would meet our facilitators who run the workshops, the other candidates, and get to know the technology they'd be using the next day, which is Google Classrooms. The next day is our main workshop day. Typically, it lasts between 10 to 2, and you would do things such as icebreakers, individual activities, and group activities. Part of the individual activities is filling out a candidate profile. So on a candidate profile, there will be different types of questions, such as role-specific questions, asking you to list your strengths, typical things like tell about a time you faced an obstacle and how you overcame it, what type of workplace culture you'd like that you'd thrive in, etc. So once you've submitted that candidate profile, our facilitators would go into your candidate profile and place their notes that they observed during the workshop time surrounding things such as communication, leadership, collaboration styles. And the last day of our workshops is just a quick 30-minute one-on-one chat with one of our facilitators to make sure you completed everything. They would answer any questions that you may have, and we'd get feedback on your thoughts on the workshop. Now going back to those candidate profiles, those are actually what we submit to hiring managers, and that's what they make their decisions based on. So the profiles are blind, meaning that they only have the candidate's initials on them and won't have any information such as age, gender, or diagnosis. And we do this to try to reduce or eliminate any biases or unconscious biases. Once the managers make their decisions, our talent acquisition team would let you know if you've been selected or not to move on to the next stage in our process, and that would be training. So if you accept moving on to training, training is virtual for all of our organization and will always stay virtual even once things kind of go back to normal. And the company is a part of training as well. And right now the company's part of that is virtual, and we hope to make that stay that way in the future. So training typically lasts about 4 weeks. The first 2 weeks are with Specialisterne, where we help you get work ready and learn about any accommodations you may need. And the second half is with the company. Our facilitators are there to help, but they get to really decide what goes on during that time. But typically you do things such as meeting your other team members and working on sample projects. And then getting to training doesn't mean 100% that you'd be offered employment by the company. I don't want anyone to worry though, because I'd say 99.9% of the time, if you get to that training point, you're offered employment. The cases where it doesn't work out, it's just typically when candidates learn more about the position, what kind of career path that would take them on, they may find out that it's not really the fit for them that they want. So after training, if you're offered employment, The talent acquisition team would be there to support you during the onboarding stage. And once you're in the role, you would be assigned a coach from Specialisterne that would check in on you on a weekly basis for 12 weeks. They would help you if you had issues with anything like communication or organization. After those 12 weeks, they'd back off if you feel comfortable in the role, but they're always there to support you, and you can even reach out to them, 3 years into the role, and they'll be there for you. There's no cost to candidates to apply to our opportunities. We're paid by the companies. So all people would need to do is, follow us on social media platforms, stay up to date on our opportunities, and apply to anything that pops up and interests you. And one thing I missed out saying is that training you do get compensated for. So during that time, you would get paid just a little less than what you'd get full-time working in the role at the company. And so we do actually have some opportunities available right now. This one may be a little out of reach, but if anyone's up to relocate to Gatineau, we have opportunities with the Public Service Commission of Canada, which is a body of government. And those opportunities include a data analyst, accounting operations assistant, programmer, and financial analyst. I will send our link to our website so everyone can look at the salary ranges and what you'd be doing in that role and what they're looking for. And the deadline to apply is March 15th. And then we also have opportunities with KPMG going on right now. And those are an audit associate, which is located in Vaughan, Ontario. There's a cybersecurity consultant, which is remote in all of Canada, but there's an option for hybrid in Vaughan if someone would like to go in person. An indirect tax staff accountant located in Calgary. An indirect tax technician, which is remote, but you have to be in the GTA. A junior software developer, which is remote in all of Canada. And a tax staff accountant, which is located in Vaughan. And the deadline for those opportunities are March 4th. So really quickly, I'm going to pop in the chat all of our social media platforms and our website if anyone would like to follow those.
Could I ask that you later pull out those ones, those employment opportunities that are remote or closer to home, and just include those? And I'll, of course, include the link in a circulation as well. But if you would just identify those that
Sure.
would be available for remote work. Within our community, there is an individual who has been hired by KPMG through this process. And it's been a very successful way to introduce this very intelligent, capable person to employment because he has anxiety and difficulty with interview processes. And this was a very strategically intelligent way of finding him the job that he needs. So great. We're happy to see these opportunities.
That's great to hear.
Hi, I'm in Vaughan. Is there something I can do to is there a link to applying for the?
Yeah, let me get you the KPMG link. You can find it on our website, but I will just quickly send this to you so you have it right in front of you.
Thanks.
There you go.
Good luck, Liam. Okay. Anything else, Laura or Brenna?
I think that we will make sure that our information is provided. Laura, you already have our pamphlet as well. You can access, information through our website, and same, if moving forward, Laura, we would love to also work with you if individuals are not successful through our program or maybe not ready to apply, then we would love to refer them to you as well, just to ensure that, as you said, even if that training, when they don't get there, then adding on another additional time of working with different programs and educating through more employability skills is always helpful for individuals, and using those platforms for each other just to ensure that, like you said, we're reducing the barriers and making sure that there's always work available, or referrals for those individuals.
That'd be great, yeah.
And don't hesitate to send me reminders of upcoming cohorts that you have, Brenna, or also new positions that come available that you think might be of interest to our group.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. Much appreciated. And we'll talk soon.